Algebra 2, I am back by popular demand, which means I must come up with another video. So, in this video, we're going to be learning the intro to long division. In order to do that, I first want us to understand why in the world are we doing such a thing. Alright, so the goal is we want to be able to convert an equation like this right here, a cubic equation. We want to convert it to factored form, right? We want to go the opposite direction because in class we've been going from factored to general. So now we want to go from general to factored form, and we want to be able to find out the three roots that go in here. All right, so in order to do that, it's going to require us to use a skill called long division. But in order to do that, let's just break it down and go over a problem that's a little more simple. So let's begin and look at a problem that you might be familiar with. All right, so first, let's just look at long division with just regular numbers that we've maybe been accustomed to since elementary school or middle school. So we ask ourselves, basically, how many times is 3 go into 8? Well, 3 goes into 8 2 times, right? And remember, this is like multiplying. Well, 3 times 2 now is 6, so we put that down here. And when we're doing long division, we can't forget to put a little minus sign, right? Because we're going to be subtracting. All right, and now once we do that, well, we just drop it down. 8 minus 6 is 2, and then we bring down the 1, right? Well, 3 times what? So 3 times what gives me 21? Well, that's just going to be 7. Okay. And now we just complete this problem. Well, what is 3 times 7? And that gives me 21. And now we can subtract these, and we get a remainder of 0. Therefore, right, the original problem, really what we were trying to figure out is 3 times what gives me 81. And by using long division, that basically means 3 times 27, right? That's the number we got up here. And that means 3 times 27 is equal to 21. So let's look at this problem over here. X squared plus 5x plus 6. Now, we can solve this problem by factoring. We don't even need to use long division, right? But I want us to start off with a problem that's nice and easy. So, for example, if we wanted to turn this into factored form, we're essentially trying to figure out how to go from here to here. Now, what might be helpful is kind of to review. Remember, we write down all the factors of 6. So I'll write it up here. So factors. It's not writing very nicely. So you get my drift. You can write that down. Factors of 6, right? So that basically means what two numbers multiply to give you 6. Well, that's going to be 1, 6, 2, and 3. And that's pretty much it. And so basically the idea is, can we add or subtract 1 and 6 in any way to get positive 5? Well, we could do 6 minus 1, but then that's not going to work, right? Because if we did 6 minus 1, that does give me 5. But 6 times negative 1 is negative 6, and we want a positive 6. So that's not going to work. So that probably means we're going to have to use this one over here. Well, what can we do with 2 and 3 to get me a 5, right? When we add or subtract, well, you just add them. So we know this is going to be 2, and this is going to be 3. And if you want to, we can verify this, right? X times x is going to give me x squared. This is going to give me x times 3 is going to give me 3x. 2 times x is going to give me 2x. And then this times 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. We're going to get x squared plus 5x plus 6 because we're adding 3x plus 2x, okay? So you could see that is our final factor form equation. But let's go ahead and pretend, right, that I gave you this problem here, x squared plus 5x plus 6. And I told you one of the factors. Okay, well, we already solved this. Let's say it was x plus 2. And I want you to find out what was the other factor, right? Well, what is this second factor right here, right? We know this is a 3, but we want to say, what can we do to figure that out, right? And so the idea is, right, we have x plus 2 times x plus blank should give me x squared plus 5x plus 6, all right? And what we're going to do this is we're going to use the idea of long division, right? So let's do it. Let's try it, all right? So let's try it. So we're essentially going to try to figure out, right, x plus 2 times what gives me that there. And this is essentially what we're doing is dividing polynomials. X squared plus 5x plus 6 divided by x plus 2. Well, let's go ahead and do that problem. So we set this up with long division. We're going to get x plus 2. And we're going to get underneath here x squared plus 5x plus 6. Alright, so now what we have to do is we have to ask ourselves, right? We start off with this first term right here and with this x right there, right? So this x, so I'll write it down here, needs to multiply with this number up here to give me this term right there. So that x should multiply to give me that term. So right here, x times what gives me x squared? Well, it has to be x, right? So that we know that this is going to be x. Okay, now what we do is we take this term here and we multiply it with x. Well, what's x times x? Right, we multiply. I'm putting a little multiplication sign. X times x is going to give me x squared. And then now what's 2 times x? Well, 2 times x is going to give me plus 2x. Okay, now I'll put my little division sign here. Alright, and so just like before when we did the problem up here, right, it was a 6. We put the minus sign. We put a minus 6. So we're going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to put, this whole thing we're subtracting. So we're going to get x squared minus x squared, and then we're going to get 5x minus 2x. So that's kind of hard to work with. So basically, when we're doing long division, all we have to do is, well, this is positive, we'll just flip the sign. This is positive, we'll flip the sign. All right, that's just the same thing as how we were with subtracting. So, well, what's x squared plus negative x squared? That gives me 0. 5x plus negative 2x is going to give me 3x. And now we just bring down the 6. And we're going to get plus 6. Okay, now I'll go ahead and write in this corner, x times what is going to give me, well, this term right here. And that's 3x. So, x times what gives you 3x? Well, it's just 3. Alright, so we know that this is going to be plus 3. Okay. Now, we just proceed like we did before. What's x times x? Oh, sorry. What's x times 3? Well, that's going to give me 3x. So, 3x. And then what's 2 times the 3? And that's going to give me 6. Okay. And just like before, right, we'll just flip the signs on these. And we're going to get 3x plus negative 3x is 0, so that's gone. And 6 minus 6, right, this is gone. So we get a remainder of 0, which is great. So essentially, we did long division because now, right, we were trying to figure out x plus 2 times what gives you that expression. Well, we can conclude then that x plus 2 times x plus 3 is going to give me x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, so hopefully this is just a quick little video that shows you how to use long division. On the next video, we're going to do it to an actual cubic function and see what happens there. Goodbye.